Each system was alike in that the constitutional law-making bodies gave up their power. The Reichstag in Berlin, the House of Deputies in Rome, the Diet in Tokyo. And these elected representatives became collections of stooges, rubber stamp organizations.
Bingo.
Applauding on cue the words of the leaders.
Bingo.
Each system did away with free speech and free assembly. Each system did away with a free press and substituted a press controlled by the party.
Stop thinking and believe in me. Now, who says that? Hitler said it. Mussolini said it. The emperor said it. Doesn't Obama basically say, stop thinking and believe in me? Isn't that exactly what he's been saying for all these years now? Isn't that what the Democrats teach the dummies who vote for them? As a matter of fact, so do Republicans, by the way. Stop thinking and believe in me. On one side, it's stop thinking and believe in global warming. Stop thinking and believe in homophobia. Stop thinking and believe in, fill in the blank, whatever the doxy of the moment is. And on the conservative side, it's stop thinking and believe in the Republican Party. Stop thinking and believe in, I don't know what they stand for, but something, I don't know what it is. I think they stand opposed to Democrats occasionally. At least they say so. We're talking about propaganda. We have other examples of it. See, in these images that were used by Hollywood at that time and the poster makers, the Japanese villain became a creature to be feared, not just because of the character himself, right? But for its inhumanity as well, right? Even the most inhuman looking of these creatures still generally sported the propaganda stable of hyperbolic stereotypes. There were depictions of snakes with buck teeth, rats with exaggerated squinting eyes, and lumbering apes with yellow coloring. With our enemy in ISIS, we do not need to make them into subhumans. They are subhumans. What would you call kidnapping young girls and raping them as young as age 8? Because their boss, Muhammad, has it in the Bible that you can have a wife at age 8. Tell me, is there anything more subhuman than that? When have you last heard that coming out of Hollywood? Never. So you have a lot to be scared of with ISIS. They're winning and we're losing. And I'm pretty sure that there are fellow travelers inside the White House who are enabling them. I don't believe that we're losing the war. I think that they're winning the war with our help. And the reason I say that, I'll use very, very simple logic. Last week, after they conquered Ramadi, they had a victory parade in the open of a half-mile long of their Toyota pickup trucks with their machine guns, 1/2 mile at least long. Did Obama take time out to launch one A-10 against them? One airplane could have wiped out the entire column. Remember Bush's Highway of Death? Remember the Highway of Death? Those charred corpses, the burnt-out tanks and half-tracks, the APCs that were burnt to the ground, the gruesome figures of Iraqis burned to a crisp. Remember those pictures? Well, that's how a war is won. Why is this war not being fought? Don't tell me because Obama was afraid of civilian casualties. That would be a lie. The latest propaganda is that the pilots can fly over a target for hours before being given the signal to launch a rocket by one of the girls inside the White House in between having her nails done and having a spa treatment. One of the girls in the sorority says, what is it? What does he want? Give me a couple of hours. I'm having the nails done. Let him fly around a little bit up there. I'll let him know in a while. What does he want? He wants to bomb what? I don't know. Any civilians around now? Call it off for today. Send them home. Send the geek home. Let him go have a cup of coffee on the aircraft carrier. We'll get back to that target tomorrow. What's on the agenda today? Oh, global warming meeting? Okay. Sorry, we can't do the war right now. All right, it's a bad parody. It's what goes on in my head of what's running this country today. That's my propaganda of what's running America. How far it is from the truth, I don't really know. It may as well be the truth for all I know, because the effects of the results are the same. Whether my parody is real or not doesn't matter. We may as well have a bunch of dithering morons having their nails done running the war as not for the effects. But my point, and you can't miss it, I don't care whether you're a progressive or what you are, what you consider yourself, why didn't Obama order any aircraft to strike that column? Why? It was the most insightful analysis of anyone in the media yet to date on this whole war issue. And there's no defending what Obama didn't do, by the way, none. So we hear that planes are flying around, and the reason the great man himself, the great commander-in-chief Obama, who has never fired a Daisy BB gun so far as I can tell, the great commander-in-chief Barack Big Mouth Obama, Barack Obama doesn't want the airplanes to strike for fear of collateral damage. That's a lie. That's a lie, and I can prove it by blowing up that column in the victory parade of Toyota trucks that the terrorists were driving after they captured Ramadi. There would have been no collateral damage, yet he didn't strike them. You explain to me why he didn't strike them, because he doesn't want to defeat them. Why doesn't he want to defeat them? You can pretty much answer that question yourself, can't you? Jordan is screaming for help. We're not giving it. Egypt is screaming for help. We're not giving it. All of the moderate Muslim nations who are trying to fight these vermin, these throwbacks, these 9th century primitives are not getting our help. Why? Is it incompetence or something worse? I don't have an answer for that. Maybe you progressives do, since you're so genius. Since you're such geniuses, maybe you can answer that question. So we are a hairbreadth away from a dictatorship, an absolute dictatorship. After Hitler had total power, the Reichstag became a collection of stooges. There was no longer a free press. That was chilling, wasn't it? Party members or related to the party ran everything. Does that not sound like ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, etc.? Doesn't it sound exactly like that? Isn't that what you've been complaining? When you say media bias, we've all heard that over and over again, like parrots. There's few code words that you haven't used on radio over the years. You've learned to repeat them like good little parrots. Like you all know the word Alinsky, and you think it's a secret code word. It's like a secret handshake. And somehow you think you've earned a master's degree in political science when you call radio shows and you say, Alinsky, he's following the Alinsky program. Or there's media bias on MSNBC. Well, okay, we all know that. But I'm trying to do this for you, which is raising up to a higher level, making you understand where we're at. We're way beyond baby talk. Barack Obama is such a maniac for power and control. He's so evil in my estimation. He has such evil intent towards this nation that unless he is stopped right now through impeachment, which I don't care whether it can win or lose, it will expose this man for what he really is. Unless he is stopped right now, it will get much worse before it gets at all better. As you know, Congress is nothing more than a collection of stooges, with the occasional honest, independent man or woman who was elected at the last election. But where were they put? Where were the young conservatives put by McDonald Duck and what's his name, Boner? Where did Boner and McDonald Duck put them? Put them at the back of the bus. Made sure you never heard from them again. Why? Because they're part of the collection of stooges. And the only explanation is not that they're being blackmailed because they wrestled with boys in their youth. Not at all. It's because they got what they wanted, which is large amounts of the public treasury for projects in their state. Nothing more nor less than that. Take a look at what Mitch McDonald Duck brought to Kentucky. Was it not a $1 billion bridge to nowhere? I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN. You can take the boy out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the boy. And as I imagine to fish my naked arm into a Coca-Cola box on a hot July day on Ludlow Street with big pieces of ice and soda on the bottom to fish out a bottle of soda, I am thinking about today's radio show and how the world has changed. Indeed, has changed because nothing stays the same. No, nothing stays the same. So I talked about propaganda used in World War II to defeat the Nazis and the Japanese imperialists. I talked about how we need propaganda against the Arab murderers in ISIS to show the world what subhuman scum they really are instead of glorifying them and making it sound as though it's just a difference in opinion. And then we segued into what life is like in South Africa under local rule and how the murder rate and the rape rate is way beyond anything anyone could imagine, how the world covers it up because they want you to believe that all is well after the white man's rule ended. But that's not what's happened. South Africa is now the 10th most murderous country in the world. The survival rate, let's put aside rape and murder. What about life expectancy? You can't blame that on the white man. When the white man ruled Africa, just as apartheid ended, the life expectancy in South Africa was 64. Now it's 56, the same as Somalia. Who are you going to blame for that? Richard Nixon? And what about the economics of South Africa? Well, they have a port city there known as Durban that used to be one of the world's giants in shipping. It's now not a giant in shipping. It slipped off the world's 50 largest container ports. I guess the evil white man was good at something. And that leads us back to Baltimore, where the police are afraid to do their job. They're more afraid of going to jail for doing their job than getting shot under local rule. So be careful what you wish for, my friends. You better be careful about the rainbow nation you're wishing for, because it may not be such a picnic. It may all melt right in front of your eyes. I would be remiss not to tell you that second week sales for my novel Countdown to Mecca were great. And once again, although the book outsold 4 other books in the top 15, the New York Times refuses to list my novel, Countdown to Mecca, in the top 15. It doesn't hurt me very much, but it should hurt you, to show you that a once great newspaper has fallen to the level of being nothing but a propaganda sheet that will even hide the sale of a book because they don't like its politics. But nevertheless, I wanted you to know that, and I wanted to remind you that it's because of this audience that Countdown to Mecca had a great second week of sales. Again, something you won't be seeing anywhere soon, meaning a list. And I'd like to ask you to look it up in a bookstore this weekend and buy one for your father or your grandfather or your husband, because they will love it. Teach your husband to read this weekend. Tell him to put down that sports game and teach him to read a good book. He might actually thank you for it. The Savage Family and Animal Charities. We've done an awful lot to save dogs from pounds. Over 5 years, $150,000. We gave service animals to disabled vets of Iraq and Afghan wars. We gave a lot of money to the International Foundation for Animal Welfare, the Gorilla and Elephant Funds. We have supported Chimp Haven in many ways since 2005. Chimp Haven, by the way, is the federally subsidized haven for lab primates who are retired to live out their life. It's a very sad story. I mean, what's done to these animals. You talk about the inhumanity of man to man. The inhumanity of man to man is one thing, which is bad enough. But what we do to animals is heartbreaking. You know, if you love animals, you could see the innocence of these things. And after they retire, instead of killing them, they go to this little place. They live out. I don't know what they do there. They get a bagel at night, a television show. We've pledged a lot of money over 5 years. I don't want to list the amount. Locally in the Marin County area, we gave $100,000 for a rebuild of the kennel for the Marin Humane Society. Why am I telling you all of this? I'm trying to goad other loudmouths in the conservative media to let go of a nickel. Maybe they can give up a dime now and again to a charity instead of talking about charities that they help support by having people from the charities on their show. That's a little different than letting go of a nickel out of your pocket.
Savage.